The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are the content creator's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Essex County College. The material and information presented here is for entertainment and informative purposes only. It should not be considered as professional advice or a substitute for seeking professional guidance.
Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back. It's another little solo episode today. I promise you it's not a rant this time, or it's not me getting emotional this time, I swear. I just had a little extra free time today, so I decided to hop right in, film something real quick. My mind's been elsewhere lately, so, right now, I'm still trying to get back into the flow of things. But, so I had this cool little idea today to come up with a little, AITA. I mean, if you know what that stands for, you know. But for the purposes of this podcast, we're going to call it Am I in the Wrong? And we're going to read a few. Feel free to comment if you guys think they were in the wrong too. If not, explain why you think they're not. And if they are, you let me know. And let's get into it. Let's read the first one. Okay, what we got here? So this is an interesting one. It says, AITA for telling my friend that I was done inviting her to parties. Now, I've been that friend, trust me. I've been a little party animal myself, and a lot of people refuse to invite me now. So let's see what their reasons is. Let's see. It says, I, 22 female, throw a lot of dinner parties, like a ton. I love to cook, so I always put food on the table, and I'm a pretty good chef, I'd say. One of my friends comes to all of them, and the problem is she takes all the leftovers. Okay. I swear to God, every single time there's a scrap left, she takes it. And I appreciate that she doesn't want to waste the food. That's not the problem. The problem is I also want some of the leftovers too. So I told her when we were eating this time, I said, hey, do not take the leftovers, all right? And she said, yeah, sounds good. Little fast forward. The end of the party, she takes the damn leftovers. When I noticed that later that night, I texted her saying, hey, if you can stop taking the leftovers, that'd be great, or else I'm not going to invite you anymore. And once again, she says, fine. And let's see. Fast forward again. Next time she goes to a party, she isn't invited. She found out through the grapevine that she wasn't, and the friend gets mad. Okay. So there was a lot more to it, but I condensed it down a little bit. So this woman is not inviting this girl anymore because she always takes the leftovers. Now, okay, and here's the thing, right? I personally don't see a problem with it on either ends. I guess the problem comes in where she told her if she could stop taking the leftovers, and she continues to take them anyways. That's okay. I can see why that's a problem. I personally would have just told her let's scrap what I would have told her friend, right? I would have just straight up just off the back saved some for myself right off the back. You know what I mean? Like I would just put some aside to begin with. That way, if she would take whatever's left, there would be no problem because I would have had my own. So I think maybe she is in a sense because, that's just a problem that she could easily just avoid, by setting some apart earlier. But I guess, she wouldn't know how much to put apart regardless. But I guess, you know what I mean? It's just, that's kind of a dumb one to me. But yeah, there's that one. Let's go on to the next. AITA for not caring that a relative of mine died. Okay. Yesterday, my younger brother, a nurse, broke us the news that our great uncle was rushed to the ER. They ran some tests. His brain was swollen, a huge blood clot. My mother, the kind of soul that she is, was sad and filled with worries, but I was indifferent. I wasn't shocked nor given any time to process the sad news, quote unquote sad. She seemed disappointed and asked why I didn't care. I told her that I don't particularly care for what happened, and he was a terrible person, so he doesn't deserve my time, respect, prayers, or sympathy. Damn. From the stories he told me, okay. So it just goes on into a bunch of things of why he was a bad person, so I'm not going to read all that. Long story short, she basically gets called out by the mother. Or is it a guy or a girl? It's a dude, my bad. So the guy gets called out by his mother for not caring that his family member died. In this case, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of on the side with the kid. I don't necessarily, if it's not like a close relative or it's not like immediate family, that I won't necessarily get that upset if they were to pass, especially if I knew they were a bad person. Then I'm kind of on the side with the kid too on that. Like, then they don't really get too much sympathy of mine. I'll probably sympathize for the family members that are affected by the death. I'll probably feel bad that they feel bad, I guess. But I'm not necessarily going to get upset about it. You know what I'm trying to say? Oh, hey, how you doing? Sorry, guys. I got Miss Stanierling in the house right now. She popped through a little bit to do a little segment. No, I'm kidding.
I'm photo bombing. I am podcast bombing him. Podcast bombing. Yes, the podcaster.
That's cool. What's up?
Nothing. When you finish.
Okay. Yeah, guys, that was a little cameo for you guys. But anyways, yeah. In this case, why would I be that upset about it if it's a distant relative on top of that? You know what I mean? I can understand if the mother is upset about it, then I can sympathize with the mother. But no, I wouldn't say that this guy is inconsiderate or wrong for not caring that this particular relative died. It does seem like he's a bad person. It does seem like, you know, he didn't have much of a relationship with him to begin with. You know, if he doesn't feel like he needs to grieve, then he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to, like, care at the same time, you know? So, you know, that's that. I don't think he's in the wrong. I don't blame the guy's mother either. She has a right to be upset too, but I don't think putting all that pressure on him to feel upset is right either. So, you know, I'm on the guy's side for that. All right, we're going to go through a few more. Okay, this one's an interesting one. Very interesting, actually. Okay, so AITI for asking my friend to bring her own food when she comes over. Now, look, me personally, if it's close friends, I don't mind getting food for them, you know, or usually if it's my friends, we all pitch in for food together, you know. But let's read. Let's see what she got to say. My friend has a pretty big appetite, and when she comes over, she frequently eats many of my groceries. That's kind of funny. I'm on a limited budget, and I can't afford to feed her appetite. When she comes over, she will typically eat $40 to $60 worth of groceries. Okay, yeah, this lady eats a lot. All right. If it's not her food, what the hell? I am all for feeding my guests refreshments and providing snacks and meals, and I only invite my friends over when I have financial position to host. Okay. The friend in question asks me almost every week if she can come over. She usually says she's having a hard time and needs a friend. I'm always hesitant to have her over because I know how much she eats. If I have a full multi-pack of food, she will leave me with one or two in addition to having whatever else she can find in my fridge or pantry. I'm sorry, this is too funny. I recently addressed my concern with her and told her that if I invite her over, I recently addressed my concern with her and I told her that if I invite her over, I plan on providing snacks, meals. However, if she asks to come over, she needs to provide her own food. Okay. So if she invites her personally over, then she can provide snacks. But if her friend wants to come over on her own accord, then she has to bring her own food. Okay, I think that makes sense. All right, let's keep reading. She did not take this well, and I felt I was shaming her she felt like she was being shamed for her eating habits. And pointed out that I didn't have this rule for my other friends, which I tried to explain was because they never ate as much as she did, which is why she's implementing those kind of rules. She said I was an AH for shaming her for her biggest insecurity and for singling her out by creating these rules. I know she struggled with food, but still asked if she could supply her own snacks and meals when she asks to come over. AITA. Now, I'm not going to lie. I see where this person is coming from. If you have a friend, right, that's constantly coming over to your house and constantly decides to eat all your food, you know, especially if you don't have much or you have, like, you know, a preset amount of food for the week, yes, this is a problem. So no, this lady is not on the wrong for thinking that. I would definitely tell my friend the same thing. I would tell them, like, listen, hey, I love you guys. I love you as a friend or whatever. Just, if you want to come over, you got to start pitching in for food, or you got to start bringing over your own food, or, you know, whatever. But you just can't just keep taking in my fridge like that and taking everything I have because, hello, I need to eat too. So that's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, that's really hilarious, to be honest. Yeah, I definitely don't blame this woman at all. I definitely tell her the same thing I would tell my friend the same thing, I guess. But that's crazy. That's a funny one. I'm not going to lie. All right, we're going to do one more, and then we're going to end the episode right there. Let's see. This one says, ATAI for calling the police on a 2-year-old child running around my neighborhood unsupervised. Okay, so that's a pretty interesting one. Some little kid was outside playing with my boys in a suburban neighborhood. He was around 2 years old, couldn't even talk yet. If I had to guess, he probably had only been walking around for a couple months. He was so young. He was out there with his cousin/sister, who was only 7. She didn't know how she was related to him and asked, "Is that your brother?" I have no idea who either of these children are. I've seen a sister cousin before in the neighborhood, but where she lived or what her name is, I couldn't tell you. So I called the non-emergency number and told them there's a 2-year-old little boy out here without an adult and his 7-year-old sister. What was I supposed to do? And the dispatcher told me to keep them there and they would send an officer out. She asked them to stay on the phone until, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, long story short, the parent was called in. They found the parent. They deemed her a bad person because she let the child out there. She wasn't around. And yeah, she was upset that the other lady called the police on the child. Okay, so absolutely not. Why would you be the bad guy in that situation? I mean, the kid is running around unsupervised. Nobody's there to watch the kid. So yeah, why would you be considered the bad guy for that? I mean, that's just common sense at that point, I guess. I don't know. The whole neighborhood came outside to see what was happening because this lady was just screaming at me. So the mother ended up screaming at the lady that called the 911. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, no, she's not the bad guy for that. She's not in the wrong for that, I don't think. It's just ridiculous that the mother turned Karen on her for that. I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, well, if I was in that situation, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably call the police, let them know that this kid has no parent around right now, no parent in sight, no adult in sight. And I would have definitely just called them and be like, hey, like, this kid is coming around. If the mother would have got mad at me, I would have told her, like, take better care of your kid. Like, it's not my fault that you look crazy right now. Like, you're the one that left the kid unsupervised. So if anybody's judging you, you kind of deserve it, right? That's what I think. Anyways, guys, I know it's a weird episode today. I kind of enjoyed doing it, to be honest. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thank you guys so much for listening and hearing me out today. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you.
This has been a production of the Essex County College Podcast Club. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.